Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to AMD Skyesports Pro League powered by Router. My name is Lucifer. Along with me, it's going to be Darshita. We are here for the start and the opening and day one of AMD Skyesports Pro League for BGMI. I'm really hyped up and excited because this is going to be the first day where even us and our viewers, Darshita, have kind of no clue. But welcome back to the desk. How are you feeling on day one?
Thank you so much for your amazing welcome. Well, if you talk about how am I feeling right now, I guess I am feeling the same way that you are feeling, pretty excited and hyped up. But at the same time, as you said, it's going to be day one. So,
Yes.
I don't want to be serious. I don't really want to be serious on the beginning itself. But it always happens that the way you begin things are the way that they end. So, if you begin things on a good note, I guess they would probably end in a really, really good note for you.
I agree with you. I mean, we always start with a lot of excitement, but behind the screens, I mean, our viewers wouldn't understand it, but we somewhere down the line are nervous. And the same kind of nervousness, all the players, all the teams playing with us will be feeling it. But I think as we progress, as the days go by, as the maps we finish off, teams will be feeling a little bit acclimatized in the environment and they'll be ready for a lot more action, but it all depends on how they will be performing. Yes, there are going to be a lot of doubts and questions and all of them will be answered as we head ourselves to the prize pool, which you guys were thinking about. The total prize pool for this tournament, it's going to be a massive sum of 10 lakhs.
We split it. We split it with the very first position for 5 lakhs. The second position goes with 2 lakh 50,000. The third position, that's going to be 1 lakh. The fourth position, 50,000. The fifth position, 30,000. The sixth position, 20,000. But Sam, as you already know, we never ever miss the most valuable player of the entire tournament. That's going to be the MVP, and he is going to be individually rewarded with a prize of 50,000 for alone himself.
I agree with you. This is going to be a prize that we will all be waiting and looking out for, and who that MVP is going to be. I would request our audience as well. Right as now, you can start speculating who that person, who that player could be, because we also have a lot of thoughts going down in our mind. But I think it's going to be a long journey for all these teams and players, Darshita, because the first place it might be very close to see. It's just the three rows above. I would say in total three rows, and the first row has 5 lakhs. But it does not pan out that way. Teams have to play numerous matches over the period of days and then come to a victory where they will be crowned as champions.
I completely agree with that. I mean, it's going to be amazing, but there's this one feeling you get at what is going to happen is somewhere what I'm really excited for. But talking about how these matches are going to pan out, what is the way the points are going to be distributed, it's all set on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. The first position, that's going to be a delicious winner chicken dinner, gets back 15 position points. That's a total of 15 points, plus the finish point that you get will be one per finish, and so is for the second third, that's 12 points and 10 points. But Sam, would you really like to take our audience throughout the day? What is going to happen today?
Exactly. Today, our audience are going to be witnessing four wonderful matches. It's going to be starting on the classic and the vanilla map that all of us play, Erangel, and then we are going to be heading into the dusty dunes of Miramar, where there can be a lot of casualties. People can fall down from vehicles, people can be sprayed down. But again, we head back to Erangel to correct things and to again I would say strategize our game on Erangel, because if you are good on Erangel, somewhere down the line in other maps also you'll be able to function. And the last match to end the day, it's going to be again Miramar. So two matches of Erangel, two matches of Miramar. It's going to be an exciting day. As we said, it's day one of the schedule. We will be seeing day two, day three, and a lot more days in terms of the action coming through. But I'm still excited and looking forward to how it is going to be panning out. But right now, talking about the groups and the teams right in front of your screens, you can see in total we'll be having 24 teams split up into three different groups. Every group consists of 8 teams, and it's going to be an action between A and B, B and C, A and C, and B and C, and so forth, to make sure every team plays the same number of matches on a given day.
Completely agree with you. Again, Sam, we already know all these teams. I mean, I'm not gonna, take time and say on the names, because we already know these logos. We are really so familiar with all of these teams, their performances, how they perform, their rotations, their drop location. I guess everything is what we are really habitual of. But again, the thing is going to be, as you said, A into B, B into C, C into A. The split that is going to come between the teams is something that can cause a problem. Now imagine if there's A into B going on and one team gets a victory, but again you switch, and this is something that can be a bit dangerous. But again, Router, we have this AMD presents Sky Esports Pro League powered by Router. So the last two maps, the map of Erangel and Miramar, is exclusively live on Router for you guys.
Exactly. I would like to take this opportunity
Yeah.
to let our audience know this is going to be an exclusive partnership where you're going to be seeing the last two matches on Erangel and Miramar only. And this partnership is between us and Router. So Sky Esports along with Router are going to bring you a lot more action. Get ready for that. And I would suggest all the viewers right as now install the Router app, get over there, and also find your various, I would say, interested languages. You can find Sky Sports English, Hindi, and so on, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam. There are so many languages that are being streamed, in total 9 languages to be specific, and everybody from various parts of the country can enjoy today's stream. And day one itself, I'm pretty sure everybody will be happy because as we talk about regional streams, right, we are bringing all of that here at Sky Esports, and I'm pretty sure just like how hyped we are, all the regional audience is looking forward to the teams fighting it out in the first match as well, but then in the ending two matches as well, because we know, Darshita, at the end is where all the action lies. The starting two matches of every day is just a match where you kind of understand your opponent and then you start performing and maybe re-strategize, go back to your blackboard and then figure out how to defeat that team. And once you figure that out, what are you going to be doing? You will be looking forward to functioning better on top of them in the last two matches. So I'm waiting when we see the first two matches, how we understand what kind of plays, what kind of drops and rotations these teams do in the first two matches, and how it's going to be changing on the third and fourth match. That's where the action completely switches up.
Actions. This is going to be full of actions, right? What we are here for? We are just pretty excited right now for a fact
Yes.
that any moment now, like in just 5 minutes or maybe in upcoming 7 minutes, there is going to be a angle all set on our screens with the fly path ready. And again, the same things like Erangel, Miramar. But somewhere down there, Sam, I do feel like I miss that map of Senok where these players used to play Doctor. I mean, I do say that because you see heal battle going on all around. That
I
is
agree.
it's like a kind of satisfaction or a moment of relief that these players have after playing to big maps. So I guess that is something going to be missing here. But again, the schedule is set in such a way that these players are not going to get even one single moment to breathe. You play Erangel, you have to play Miramar, and again, these both maps, pinpoint rotation, pinpoint drop clashes, something that you need to avoid, and so much to talk about, right?
Exactly, there'll be a lot more to talk about, but as you did mention about Sanok, I'm feeling a little bit sad as you mentioned. There will be a little bit of a change in Sanok where you kind of see actions, I would say, expediting. They don't have a lot of space to run around, but yes, I think just like we know that map is of medical use, I think it's on a medical leave right as of now.
Oh
So
yeah.
we will eventually be seeing it once it's recovering, but still, you understand, right? There is just four matches on a given day, so you need to balance it out between the three groups that is there, and that's the main intention about here, to make sure the two matches that we are playing are being repeated, so all the teams get a chance to play in every map. But Darshita, I would want to see the action coming in here from the start itself. We are going to see Erangel. We know it's going to be a classic map of BGMI, but what do you think is going to be different here? Erangel, numerous times in various tournaments, we've seen all these teams performing, but do you think here in Pro League, because all these teams are invited, they are going to be starting it off right as of now, so none of them have met each other in this tournament, so it's going to be a day where they're all completely clueless.
So we are right. It's not just the teams are clueless right now, Sam. Even we are, because
I
till the
agree,
time
right?
we yeah, till the time we don't enter the very first map and we don't see what is happening, how these players have really planned out to perform. I guess there's nothing like prediction that we can do. And trust me, I'm not predicting anything because I've been really bad on that side. I mean,
We all are. That's
no,
how it goes.
that's a special love that BGMI gods have with me. I
Exactly.
don't know why. It's a kind of special kind of attachment they have with me every time I say something, and they're like, okay, you say it, and there you do it wrong. So yeah, no predictions. Please do not hope any kind of predictions from me. So I guess we'll give that responsibility to Sam. So yes, what do you
Okay. That's going to be a huge hammer that you've thrown at me, and
Yeah,
I'm not Thor here.
obviously.
I am not Thor. I cannot lift it. I'm not even. Oh shit! You did it. You sent it across to me. But yes, I would want to make my thought about it as maybe we are going to be seeing a couple of drop clashes here and there. But the main, I would say, my thing that I'm looking forward to is going to be not a clash in the open. I want to see maybe a fight happening at Pochinki. That's where the action always lies, because there are a couple of sewers, there are a couple of trenches, there are a lot of buildings. So building fights are going to be something that I'm going to be expecting. There are going to be tough fights. There are going to be up and downhill fights, and Pochinki gets everything for you. So I think that's what I'm looking forward to on how it's going to be functioning in terms of if we get a Pochinki fight. But the flight path is going to be something that I'm also looking forward to seeing on how it is going to be forming, because we've seen generally a north to south, south to north, east to west. I'm looking forward to an edged flight path. But again, this is all my request, Dasita. I'm not making, I would say, speculations or even predictions. But yes, our viewers can make their predictions on where the flight path and the others will be. But we will also be heading over to the match because we have a confirmation and we do not want to delay you guys any further. And one of my requests, they have been held strong here. I did ask for kind of a diagonal flight path, a kind of an edge flight path, and we're going to be seeing the flight path favoring military base.
Favoring military base, but again, I'm just imagining a situation, Sam, where what if the zone decides to go towards Sivani, because we always know, right, where the fly path is, the zone never is. So that can be a bit of problem. But coming back to the point, right now we see few teams dropping down to those areas of Query, Ferry up there. I guess we'll see one team in Pochinki, maybe School Rozok will have one team. Teams going till Kameshki, Stalber or Sivani, it's going to be a bit of difficult as these places are going to be the complete one edge, and the gliding distance is something that can't be covered really easy.
Exactly, I agree with you. There are going to be a couple of distances that these teams will not be able to cover. But again, we know these teams have played it a numerous number of times, and they will have an opportunity to head over to their position irrespective whether they have a disadvantage or not. But the only way that these teams kind of have a casualty is if somebody puts a stop to them during rotation.
Rotations, yes, it is going to be the most important part. Again, as I just said a while ago, that the zone might go Sevani, but there you go. The zone first circle we already have on a screen down there to the areas of military base, Pochinki, and school. Right now, I guess this zone might be favoring all of the teams. You see,
I
right?
agree.
Some teams are already at the edges of the zone, and that can be a reason that at least till the second circle comes up, Sam, we aren't expecting any kinds of fight to happen.
I think, yeah, I agree, because it's day one, a couple of fights might not happen, but a cluster,
Pochinki?
maybe, yes, exactly. I was about to spot that out. There are two teams right at Pochinki, right next to each other. One is going to be Marcos, the other one, I'm just looking forward to seeing which that team is. But it looks like Ghosty, he does not want to even engage with that team. On the other end, yes, I did think it should be blind, and yes, it's going to be blind. They love Pochinki, this is their stronghold. But
No.
Marcos, they're here to contest. Spy OP has been spotted. Dino, he is looking forward to doing the damage, but he does a little bit in terms of only chip. But after that, Spy, he's gone into a hard cover.
I loved the way Spy was dancing all around the roads. I mean, both the teams were aware for a fact that they have enemies and right in front of them, but still, so I decided to just do something new there, and definitely he did that. Well, right now he found a good place for himself. So is for the sides of Killua there. If you see him, he got a UMP to play around with, and trust me, Sam, these changing metas every day, like. UMP is something that has been changing a lot these days. We see players not with AKM and M416, but we see them playing with UMP in a close range or a 1v1 situation.
I agree with you. I mean, I've seen players with UMP with a scope and all.
Yeah.
So it's something that these teams, as I would say, players are able to do. And yes, it always surprises us. But now with the information being relayed to blind that there is a team right at Pochinki's gates, and they will be looking forward to completely destroying them. I mean, I do want to give a little bit credit here and also an advantage to the side of blind, because you will also agree to this, Darshita, is blind any time that if any team comes to contest them, they always make sure they finish them off, not even let them survive, not even a single player, they finish them off. And right now I think Marcos have also understood that. They're looking forward to blind making a mistake, but it looks like Don, he wants to rotate out from Pochinki.
He is looking forward to a different position, a different angle, and so is again that's Ninja Jord waiting in that vehicle. He's just looking around for something, maybe his players, but I don't see him really with a good amount of loot. I mean, I don't know what exactly is up with him, but look at that. He just has a third level backpack to walk around with, and there's nothing more that he has. But his teammates, we do see them nearby, and if you talk about the play zone, they are just somewhat like 800 meters away from the play zone. So I guess surviving throughout the play zone is not going to be a big, big thing for them. But again, it's been 4.5 minutes already, and these players haven't found anything for themselves. So that can cause a bit of problem.
I agree with you. If they were a little bit further away, there might have been a problem. But right now, the
Let's
problem is
go.
going to be at Exo's end. It's going to be Liability, who is already down. Tom, he does the damage. He finds one player, but the push is coming through. And it is going to be OR along with Atanki, making sure they confirm and eliminate Exo very early on. And they're going to be the first team to be eliminated here. Unfortunate, yes, Atanki did have a little bit of a problem, did get knocked down, but his teammates were there, helped him survive and also finish off a team. And two finishes coming in for OR.
Started it on a really good note by taking one player down, but eventually that's done for one team. So we have we just lost one of our team at an initial mark of 5.5 minutes. Right now, if you talk about the sides of, yeah, it is right, it is. If you talk about Marcos and Blind, the fight we were talking about, Blind, they are really not happy for a fact that they got a drop clash at the beginning of the very first map of AMD Skyesports Pro League, and that's why they're looking forward to at least take a fight, at least take one player down. But I guess Team Marcos has just fall off completely, and there you go. Pochinki is again a complete house for Team Blind.
Blind will hold compounds of Pochinki in their dreams, in when you wake them up
Yeah,
very early on.
exactly.
It's very difficult, and I think Marcos, they're reading right into it. There also, you can see Dion, he's searching for each and every corner, making sure that he has information, not just blindly getting into a compound, because anywhere in the, I would say, close quarters of Pochinki, you need to be worried about. I mean, Blind, you did see them, so I think Marcos will be a little bit safe right now, and they've also got a compound for themselves. So if Blind push here, what is their stronghold, their fortress Pochinki, that is not going to be there anymore. So it can put them in a little bit of a difficult situation. But I think until and unless Marcos retaliate together, Blind can even finish and get a lot more, I would say, finishes and also eliminate a team. But talking about ENIGMA, they're going to be going in for a joyride. Two vehicles have been drowned, but they have a boat.
Vehicles drowned and a boat. Different idea, right, Sam? A complete different idea. But 4-on-4 surviving players, if you see, they have good loot to work around with. I mean, the second level backpack or the third level backpack is something that they need to, really gather for themselves. Just carrying all those bullets, it's going to be really important. But again, right now, the way this fight has started, Sam, it doesn't looks really like the map of Erangel is, because it's completely at a peace for a moment, but again, out of nowhere, you see a fight happening, and I guess that is going to be the case between OR Jelly and the sides of Team Tactical.
That is going to be the case. Let's see how Tactical will be able to come out of a fight. OR have already finished a team, so they will be confident. And I'm looking forward to how that fight will be panning out. OR a little bit, I think Aru is going to be one of them who's a little bit further away from his team. Everybody else, they're playing in close quarters at school, so for them it should not be difficult. But again, it is all about to be, I would say, the timing when the second circle comes up and when they have to start rotating. Right as you know, they'll be feeling more than happy in the position they are, and none of the teams right now immediately contesting, but we are seeing a couple of teams in the close quarters where OR might not have an idea, and Jelly runs out in the open, gets punished for it from Tactical.
Jelly was waiting. I don't know why did he took that decision, but right now he's down to the ground. One more fight that's happening. There you go. It's Vikas getting spotted there. Savitar will be taking him down. That's insane. Player R6, that's going to be insane versus 7C if I'm not wrong. One player is down to the ground. Savitar, he's trying his level best so that he can, completely eliminate that player and take one finish. Okay, the second finish for himself, but I guess, that's vehicles for them. So they will be deciding to go ham towards the surviving player there. Sarang is all set. The players have been caught there. Sarang will be managing to take one more down. What was that, Sarang? And I guess that's going to be both of the players done and dusted if I'm not wrong.
I agree with you, right? As now, Insane having a lot of difficulties. Akash, who was down, he survived, picked the vehicle, and he just ran for his life. Whereas he left his player alone, and I think that movement was caught by Sarang, and he did the damage. He also got dished a lot. He was about to lose his footing. He was about to be knocked, but before that, Sarang deals his last bullet and connects that and gets that knock. And also, you can see the finish also comes to 2 finishes for 7C. I think 2 players from Insane have been finished off, but right now, Insane's last 2 players, they have rotated, but they have come very up close to the team number 7. You can see that's going to be Nexus as well as Daljit. Both of them know that it's going to be a close quarter situation. It's a 2v2 fight here, Darshita, but let's see who has an upper hand. Grenades were tossed, but still, in terms of connection of bullets, none of it have been done or dished yet.
Looking forward to what exactly this plan is right now. Again, we just saw that, right? A 2v2 fight was happening before even, but the players decided to move out of that fight. So again, it's a 2v2 situation right now. If you talk about Vikas, I would say it's probably into a bit of difficult situation, but on the other side, Daljit will be managing to take Prince down to the ground. Insane player 5 with that grenade will be taking Nexus down. Daljit will be confirming 7C Prince there. Player 5 looking forward for more and more aggressiveness, looking forward to confirm as much as he can, but I guess Daljit is sure of the position that the players are holding. But again, look at that, Sam. Daljit is in a sandwich situation, right?
Yes, Daljit, it's going to be very difficult for him. He's making use of his grenades, trying to do some amount of damage, trying to find some kind of a connection, but it is all being denied because he does not have a clear-cut picture of the last 2 surviving players from Insane. On the other end, they're getting pushed from 7C. I mean, whereas Daljit and Nexus, they never brought 7C close to them. It was Insane. 2 players they lost and they started rotating. 7C followed them. They trailed them, because of which now Daljit and Nexus are caught. Daljit creates a smoke screen and immediately takes his buggy and runs forward. This has been seen by player 5 from Insane, but still no action taken on top of that. But talking on revenge, they have found it. They found CS. That's going to be Chemin, and they're looking forward to trying to do some damage on them.
They are looking forward to, but right now what happened was Sonic just taking a lot of damage on himself, and so is the case for Akshay there. You look, both of the players are really low on HP, but Sam, as I said too, it just was a wait for 10 minutes for multiple fights to get started, and I guess that is the situation. We have one more fight between the sides of Team TSM. Right now, they are looking forward to an upper area to hold further for, but Blaze with that grenade will be trying to take one player to get a connection, but Ninja Jordi has some different plans, and there you go. They have decided to go really, completely ham towards their enemies. There are 2 players right in front of their face. Ninja Jordi, this can at least take one player down, but again, only rocks or maybe the other player can give a better cover fire, and Ninja, okay. This also came, I was just about to say, Ninja got down to the ground. Second player called Substitute will be taking one more player down. Team TSM just falling down.
1v3.
What?
I am confused, Darshita, right as now. How did TSM lose their footing? And now it's about to be the last surviving player who's tucking his tail and making a run for it. He's been spotted from Ronak. This is going to be really, really damaging for TSM, and I think it's all because of the rotation. We always talk about it. Ronak somehow missing his shot. I mean, it's going to be the buggy, they're going to be trying to dodge the bullets, and unfortunately they do it, but the confirmation of 3 different players from TSM have been, I would say, taken from Celtz, and they have 3 finishes on their hand. Revenge, we did see them trying to hold off Chemin, but let's see how it's going to be panning out, because it looks like Sonic is trailing Delta right now.
Delta PG. This was the plan Delta PG had, but Sonic right now is looking forward to take Delta PG down, and there you go. Delta PG not just down to the ground, he's eliminated. Destro has been caught at the same time. Did not get out of that buggy, but he manages to take one player down. Akshay right in front of his face. Really low on HP, one magical HP, but there you go. Akshay is even down to the ground. Sam, this match is just against all our expectations that we were looking forward to. On the other sides, Destro will be taking Akshay down completely. Final boss will be eliminating Justin there. Tactical Bot is looking forward to completely eliminate the sides of blind one player, but at the same time, he's been caught by different angle.
Unfortunate blind. I think it's the only player who's been caught in between the players and the team of Tactical. They're taking advantage of it and they've already dealt a knock. They're looking forward to the other players of blind. You can see their cards, yes, you can see them, but they're nowhere close. They will be looking forward to retaliating, but look at Kevin's Destro. He has I would say retaliated a lot. He did get two solutions for all the efforts and the push coming in from Revenge. Unfortunately, Revenge, they got spotted not only from Destro's play, that smart work coming in from him, also from another different team. But right now in front of our screens we did see Tactical, who are looking forward to retaliate the bullets coming in from blind, and you did see blind were the ones from a little bit of a mid to long range angle looking forward to a fight.
What is Tactical? What are you exactly up to? They just took the vehicles directly down in the water, and this scene was completely caught by insane player 5 there. So right now they have just compromised themselves completely and got them into a more difficult spot is something that I would say, because look at that, Insane player 5, all the players from Insane right now knows that there are players down there, but again Insane can be into a difficult spot because there you see the sides of Team Marcos as well. So again it's going to be a contestment between 3 teams of who is going to stay alive and who is not.
I'm looking forward to how it is going to be panning out, Darshita. As you said, it's complete chaos and confusion over here.
Yeah.
And look at that, Kevin's Destro, he's still surviving. He was the one who acted himself. He was the only player who acted as a bait. He went through the bridge back from where the team actually came through from, where Revenge were trying to gatekeep them, and again went to the bridge, got a couple of vehicles where he could immediately drop off and try to make it as cover, and he played out brilliantly around that vehicle. And now looking at the zone, looking at the circle, I think we are going to be seeing the fights only happening at the bridges, because it's going to be the third. We're going to be seeing the fourth circle forming in and the third circle collapsing, and you can see immediately switching up, going towards the edges of military base, leaving certain parts of the bridge still alive. But it looks like a lot of these teams are in close counters. But I think, Darshita, what is going to be happening here is teams are going to be looking forward to playing in the shows, playing in the riverbeds as long as possible until other teams fight against each other, because this is the fourth circle and you can still see there are 14 teams surviving. So they want to reduce the number, and I think Destro, he's the main culprit over here, who is reducing the numbers on Revenge.
One player is already down to the ground, as you said. The second player is being
1v4.
caught, and Destro, oh my god, a 1v4 is what this man did here. He is just going completely mad right now. 2 players alive, but an amazing 1v4 is what we just saw by the sides of CES Destro. On the other sides, as you were talking about, it's just all about opportunities. You always seek for opportunities, and so is the case with these players right now. They are just waiting for the opponent to make a mistake, convert it into an opportunity for themselves, and eventually take finishes for themselves. At play zone will be the reason back there that blind Killua will be I guess punished, and he is down to the ground. Tactical players, they are still inside those water bodies, but again, how long can they survive is going to be the questions. We even have the sides of Team OR, but I guess Aro is the last surviving player. So Sam, do you think that with the position this team is holding, is it really difficult for them to survive?
I think it should be possible that they survive. I understand this question is coming because they're under the bridge and there are a lot of teams up close. But I think they have kind of, I would say, disassociated, disengaged from the fight, and they're surviving. But right now, team which is having a difficulty in surviving is going to be Tactical. It's a 2v4 situation and they're being dished a lot of damage, and comes in Marcos as a third party and finds bombed in between. That is also going to be a knock. They'll be looking forward to a finish, but Daljit and Nexus alongside, just being the 2 players, causing a lot of havoc. They've found another player, they've knocked him clutch. They will be getting that confirmation as well. Hitman, he's going to be the last surviving player here, and blind, they are also falling apart one after another.
12 teams and 34 players. Just how fast everything is just drastically changing. I mean, a while ago we had so many players alive. Tactical Hitman, as he's the last and the lone survivor from his team, Sam, he's just looking forward to be at a complete peace. He has 2 players right front in his face, and even one small footstep can cause him eventually his death. So that is something that he needs to be really very careful about, and I guess that's going to be the only reason that he is inside those bushes, and he's not even moving a muscle. I mean, he's just waiting there patiently.
I agree with you. He has to wait it out. He has to play it smart. He has to play it slow. There are so many things that we can talk about, but right now, a brilliant decision coming in from
Yeah.
OR. They have, I would say, kind of replenish their health. Yes, they will be a little bit damaged in their vest and helmet as we move into the other players, because most of them, when you saw them, they were knocked. But right now, Rocks, he'll be finding one on Evo Italy. He'll be looking forward to a couple more as well. But let's see how it's going to be panning out. Marcos, they're holding out right at the shores, and this is what I talked about. Until the next zone forms, teams will be looking forward to playing in the water bodies and rivers. And right now, they are trying to do it, but they're also getting spotted. I think a brilliant position coming in from Marcos. The fifth circle comes in, and you can see it's away from the river beds, and I think this is going to be a difficult position for a lot of teams to come out, especially Insane and the last surviving player TSM Shadow OG, and in between we see Shadow OG being finished off from Marcos Pavico, and that's going to be the end of TSM.
I completely agree with that. Out of all that happening, we have two teams inside the zone. That's going to be the sides of Team HH and Team OR there. Look at their position. They were down the bridge and they just went all up. They holded a great position, and right now they are inside the zone. But on the other side, Scary will be taking down Pau Kilo. So that's going to be one player down. That's Striker FTW just trying to find as many players as he can, and there you go. Player 5, his location is being compromised. On the other side, 7C Sarang will be taking one more player down, so that's going to be multiple players going down to the ground just because of the play zone shouldn't coming up. Player 5, I really doubt that this player will be able to survive for a really long time, and there you go. Player 5 completely eliminated.
I feel sad for player 5
Yeah.
over there. I mean, he tried to dodge, he tried to submerge himself, but he knew he, I think, ran out of oxygen. But now let's switch over to the fight. As we saw, Celtz, they did take on TSM, left only one player surviving, who has also been wiped out. But right now, the man who did it all substitute, he has been beaten out and finished as well. And in the meantime, the other players, they want to make sure they actually try and find a revenge. But right now, there are a lot of smokes deployed in various different angles, which is making life difficult. But talking about life difficult, Daljit is making on Old Hood Esports, but Assault immediately trading it out, finding a knock on Daljit. Now it's all up to Nexus. We will eventually switch over to that as soon as it's on a screen. But right now, Hyderabad Hydras trying to fight out with Marcos. Marcos were playing right at the edges of the circle. They are still at there, but as the fifth zone formed, they had to start pushing in, because of which they've come in at a difficult situation. Kemen's Destro, unfortunate, he was playing very brilliantly at the bridge, but right now as the circle shifted, he had to move in. The play zone does the damage, takes on Daljit as well. That's going to be a finish on Daljit. 7C Sarang with a grenade gets a brilliant knock and an immediate finish on Old Hood. Assault, Rocks gets finished off, unfortunate, I think, by the play zone. 7C finding a knock on Evo Italy. There's so much happening on the kill feed, it's just running away from my screen, Darshita.
Exactly. I'm just having my eyes there. I'm like, what is exactly happening here? You talk about the sides of team. Carry is really low on his HP. Before patching himself up, he will be just compromising his head, and there you go. His head will be pop off. Carry down to the ground, and right now he's not down to the ground. He's on the rooftop, and he's down to his knees. So that is something that can be more and more difficult. Surya, he is finding himself. He's trying to find himself a position where he can hide, but again, that position is just compromising his location, and that is something that can be difficult. But difficulties are building up for the sides of Team ENIGMA, as one player is already down to the ground, and Avi is looking forward to revive.
They will be, because 7C, they're pushing in very up close. There's going to be Alu Boy, who's already knocked. Savitar looking forward to save him. A grenade being cooked from Evo Italy. Needs to time it perfectly. He might have find another knock on Savitar. The grenade comes in. He does the damage, but I think it was not a confirmation. Just a couple of chip damages coming in, and he's deploying a lot of smokes. He knows as soon as the revives kicked in, the push will also come through. But right now, Enigma, the player who is down, Menace, he has been kind of revived and patched, and that's the reason pushing in. But Marco's done, and between the chaos, between 7C and Enigma, gets knocked. Savitar was looking up to push uphill. He did spot a player from Enigma, does try to do the damage, but Hyderabad Hydras, as you can see them, they did try to look forward to a fight with Marcos, but they are the ones who are actually falling apart one after another. Maxi also falls down. Ghosty, he's pushing up, and I think it's going to be the last surviving player, or make it last two surviving players from Hyderabad Hydras.
Last two surviving players, but I still doubt how long will they be able to survive. Marcos, they lost one of their players, but Carry will be falling down of the vehicle. You don't do that at this point of time when you are at the end of the zone. Okay, that's a 1v between striker and Gasti. Well, Gasti will be making sure to exhale that and finishing one of the player, confirming one finish for himself and his entire team. 7C Sarang on the other side, his helmet is completely damaged, and so is for his teammates. So they need to find some new helmets for themselves. But I guess that's going to be really very difficult. Savitar, look at that. These damaged helmet is something that can cause more and more of problems, Sam, for the entire team.
It's going to be very difficult. If your equipment it's not in great
Yeah.
condition, it's going to be doing a lot of damage. But 7C Sarang, he is thinking that he does not want to pick up a rifle. He want to just play with those grenades. 2 grenades, 1 knock he does find on Eggy, but Italy immediately going in for a revive. Menace also gets knocked, but this grenade is from OR. And now it is going to be Sarang slowly creeping up, and he might actually find 2 finishes right as now, but he needs to time it perfectly. Avi also cooking in a grenade, and I'm looking forward to who is he looking forward to connect that. It's going to be 7C, Alu Boy and Savitar. But look at the damage, immediate spray coming through, and it's going to be the end of ENIGMA as Sarang wraps it up. But Aru, did he steal those finishes? Yes, only ENIGMA Avi's finish they got. Everything else was stolen from OR. Aru, why and what did you just do at the last moment? OR having 10 freaking finishes, double digits in this first match.
7C will definitely be not happy with what exactly happened right now, and a revenge is something that they may look forward to, and I guess it's gonna be the last 2 surviving team. That's gonna be OR and 7C. So right now 7C, they got an opportunity to take a revenge of the finishes that this team has stolen from them. But again, look at the position. 7C on the upper hand, but out of the zone. Now you talk about OR, lower hand, but inside the zone. So it's going to be an equalizing situation, Sam, between both of the teams. We can't talk about advantages and disadvantages at this point of time, because everything is pretty equalized. Sarang, he's just popping off some, energy drinks for himself, so that there's not even a single mistake happening.
I agree with you. Right now, 7C might just have an advantage in terms of the position that they are, but look at the circle. They did get an airdrop, so the thing that we were discussing about their equipment, they need to be in tip-top condition. That drop, that loot will help them get that positioning. And also, look at the opponent. You can see a level 2 helmet and a level 2 vest, whereas the players, at least one of their players will have a level 3 vest and a helmet. But Alu, I think he overextended. He did not have to do that push, get spotted, and right now he's stuck near a tree where nobody is able to provide cover from his teammate. Sarang, he's trying to push in, and this is all a quick action coming through from 7C because they know they don't have the circle. Sarang also gets knocked. It's going to be the last surviving player, Savitar. He needs to pull off a 1v3 situation, and he's still uphill. There is just going to be a big boulder that's going to be preventing him from getting eliminated. But Aru, his position has been compromised. The grenade comes through, does the damage, and the finish will be dealt from Aru himself. He stole the finishes, and he will also be finishing off 7C and gets the chicken dinner. What a play coming in from OR in the first match itself. I think total 13 freaking finishes is what OR pulled off here.
13 finishes and 15 placement points. What an amazing way to start the day, Sam, right? It's 20 plus points, 25 plus points that you just accumulated in one single map. This is going to be really, really amazing and a really great start for the entire team. But again, as we already know what Team 7C is all about. They it's like a comeback at any moment you don't expect.
Oh, yes.
And suddenly you get a big surprise. So maybe a surprise incoming. We can't be really sure or anything. But again, Team OR, they performed really well throughout. I mean, we saw 1 or 2 players going down to the ground, and at that moment I really felt that it is difficult for the sides of Team OR to survive. But again, they survived really well. Not just survived, but they just stole the victory from each and every team at the end of the zones.
I agree with you. They stole the show. They won that victory, and right now they will be the one on the tabletop, and they will be right now kind of commanding the entire tournament. I know it's just the start, but I need to say this. OR, that is not the first match. It looked like they've played a lot more matches in this AMD Skyesports Pro League. But we,
Yes.
as casters and even audience, we know this is the first match. But they played it like this is their game that they know completely about. And that's what we talked about, right, Darshita? It is going to be a starter for a lot of these teams. And a lot of these teams will be looking forward to understanding on what the opponent team did, how their play style is. Do they like third parties? Do they go in for rotations? Do they play on the in the center of the circle? I think right as now what OR played was just trying to be at the edges of the circle, trying to maintain positioning. There was a point you did even ask and point it out. Do you think OR will survive? But
Yes.
just because they were under the bridge and they kind of had no vision on them, no attention on them, they survived.
Surprises, right? Everything
Yes.
is just full of so many surprises. But again, this first map, I mean, I really don't exactly recall of what has happened, what
Hmm.
expectations did we really have with the very first map. Yeah, somewhere I felt like one team may excel out of nowhere and just go ham towards the enemies, and that was really done well by the sides of Team OR. It's just about it. I guess Aru was would give a big credit to for
Oh,
stealing
yes.
those finishes from the sides of Team 7C, because again he stole the finishes, and there his location was compromised again from the sides of 7C. If we talk about this fight, I guess one mistake, one small mistake of aggressing. I mean, yeah, I understand
Aluboy.
that. Yeah, but the point remains the same, right? They didn't have the play zone, so at the end of the
Exactly.
day, they had to move.
Circle, the
Yeah.
zone will always affect you. You need to find a way to be at the center at almost all the times, especially the end fights. It's going to be very crucial. The position that 7C were, it was kind of a winning position, but the place that they were in was outside the circle. Otherwise, uphill battle always works with the team's favor, which is on the hills, and 7C should have had that advantage. But you saw, as you said, the zone was pushing. Aluboy did not have any other choice. Either he had to move from that position, had to climb and come close to Savitar, or had to just aggress through. And he saw if he would have actually come close to Savitar, not only would have he given away Savitar's position, he would have compromised his entire team who would try to provide him cover. So he thought, let him act as a bait and let him immediately peek out. But I think the timing was not perfect. The communication missed coming in from 7C. If they had timed it perfectly, you saw the side of OR, they immediately started peeking as soon as they saw Alubai pushing with his vehicle. If that would have been timed perfectly, 7C could have had an advantage, could have had actually dealt damage, because we didn't even talk about the airdrop that they got. They did get a chance to loot it, get the level 3 and level 3 helmets and vests, but at the last moment, you know, right, it's going to be kind of a pressurized situation, and also the circle pushing you. Too many things to think about. But OR, I want to see Aru alone. How many finishes did he wrap up? I think more than 5 is what he needs to have, because two finishes he did pick off from two or three finishes of Enigma, and the last of Avi was picked up from 7C, and the next two finishes I'm pretty sure Aru did. But on another perspective, OR did also get a lot more finishes in the early fights that we saw. They were able to finish off a team as well. So I think OR, right as now, will be feeling really, really strong and dominating in the start of the match. But I need to give a credit to a couple of other teams as well. 7C, we saw them, they came in second, but insane as well, they managed to survive when they lost their two players. Then we saw Celtz, who took down the entire team, and I would say kind of 1v3 situation on TSM. Then if we talk about Revenge, who kind of chased Chemin's Destro, but Chemin's Destro, he kind of trapped, like in the movies, right, the hero kind of goes into a room and everybody else starts chasing him, and then he locks the room. It was kind of that situation. Destro gave them a call, invited them, and he just kind of closed them out from any other position. I think it was a 1v3 or a 1v4 situation,
Yes.
but we did see also Revenge, one of the players, being spotted from a different team. So I cannot, I would say, give you an affirmation and that on that it's going to be a 1v4. But what a game it was. It's unbelievable. This was the first match.
It's just the first match, Sam, and we as a caster are so much confused. I mean, what was happening there? It was not a proper fight between, I would say, two teams, like a proper
Mm-hmm.
4v4 situation that we come across with, or maybe a 4v3, a player loss, or something, a casualty happening. It was nothing like that. It just was like two teams were fighting it out. We saw a sandwich situation. Daljit, if you remember, was just caught into a different
Oh,
position, into a complete sandwiching situation where I am not really, I'm just yet not sure whether he just managed to, get out of that position between two of those teams. So there's just so much happened. But again, if you ask me what has happened, I will really be like, I really don't recall anything. So much, so much, so much. But
exactly.
again, one more fight. I mean, I know I don't want to prolong all the fights, but one more fight that was about to happen but didn't happen was between the sides of Team Blind and Marcos at the beginning in the areas of Pochinki, right?
I was about to talk about Marcos
Yeah.
itself. Marcos started the fight, did damage on Spy, then they ran away from it. I mean, they paid attention to the circle, so a good call coming in from them. But after that, they came to the river shows where they were holding a couple of teams who were swimming around. They did do the damage, but then we saw the only proper fight that they took was with the side of Hyderabad Hydras. After that, when they wanted to move into the circle, two players did. You saw when Hyderabad Hydras did have the last two surviving players. The two players from Marcos, they entered the edge of the circle. One player from Marcos, who was Ghosty, he did finish off Hyderabad Hydras. He stayed behind to make sure that none of them were creeping behind, because we know a lot of backstabs can happen when
Yeah.
you're in the last moments of the fights and you want to prevent that from happening. But when those first two players entered the circle, one of them got immediately knocked down. I think it was Paviko. After that, everybody from Marcos were just looking forward to trying and surviving. And the fight, whenever it's out in the open, it's always a disadvantage. You need to have smokes at the last moment, and your smokes need to be deployed way before you actually enter the circle. But I think Marcos made that mistake of entering the circle and then putting up the smokes. After giving an invitation, after giving a call, after ringing an alarm bell, if you try to disappear, it's going to be difficult. The teams might have, I mean, like homes might have CCTVs, or they might have dogs that might just chase you down. So I think somewhere Marcos, their initial start was good, but when they were in the last fight, they did not strategize.
I completely agree with that. One more point, you were talking about the usage of smokes here. So I remember, I again remember this point that these players using of smokes is always, it's not always about, just giving a cover. It's
Mm-hmm.
sometimes about misconfusing or misleading your enemies when
Yes.
you just use your smokes on the other directions, you run in the other directions, and your enemies really get confused at that point of time, and like confused as we are right
Mm-hmm.
now of what exactly has happened previously. I mean, I do feel like I wanna experience this Erangel once again from the beginning itself. As you said, the beginning was really good. The fly path was something that you were expecting, and it turned to be your way. Like a diagonal fly path was something that you were looking forward to, and eventually it happened to be that way. But again, what happened next was something that was. Let's see that. Let's see that. I mean, we will
Exactly.
see that directly on our screens with discussing it more and more, right?
Highlights is what is going to be in front of your
Yeah.
screens. Daljit and Nexus, you did talk about them. They played out brilliantly. Only being the last two players, they did cause a lot of commotion. They did take out players from tactical. They did do a lot of damage, but Celtz substitute, you saw this 1v3. He was just jiggling up and down the hill, and he did take down three players one after another. He was switching guns. He was going in for reload. It was just brilliant to see this. But this is the invitation I talked about. Delta PG, he gets knocked, but there was Destro who did the damage one after another. He was just spraying and peeking, spraying and peeking. Look at his health. He was just mere less than 1 HP, I would say, and he was about to be finished off. Justin was also caught, so Destro was the only last surviving player from Chemin's end who was doing all the heavy lifting. He took down one player, two players pushed him, and yes, we see this is going to be a 1v3. The last surviving player, he's a little bit further away, but then Destro did get finished off to the zone. The circle did the damage to him. Or they were fighting under the circle, looking forward to picking up a couple of finishes, but when they got knocked, they immediately made sure that they did not want any kind of attention towards them and concentrated on patching themselves.
Moving further with the fight, I guess this moment Carry did a big mistake here. He was really low on his HP, and rather than Sam patching himself up, he just peaked, and that is where difficulties begin. It was one player down, and there you go. Even Maxi was caught onto a different location while he was trying to pop off a grenade, and there he was not just down to the ground but eliminated completely. Marcos Gaming, as I said, initial one fight was something that was disengaged. But again, second fight was something that I guess didn't work into their favor, and their team Marcos was even eliminated. 7C Alu Boy, I mean, the way this guy has played his role entirely was something that was really amazing. But at the end of the day, play zone was somewhere completely towards the sides of team OR, and that was a really big advantage that this team had.
Exactly, you could see OR Aru finishing off the match, and in total, I think he had plus 5 finishes. 4 I already saw, another 2 to actually close out the match. So I think 6 or 7 finishes. But this is going to be the first match of Erangel, and as you also requested, Darshita, we want to see Erangel again. We will be, and I want to let our viewers know again. Next match, yes, it's going to be Miramar, but after that, we are going to be heading to Erangel again, where this will immediately switch exclusively on router. So again, letting you all know that all you have to do is go ahead, go to your Play Store or App Store, and make sure you install router on your mobiles, on your devices, or even in the TVs if you're watching. There are links in the pinned chat section or even in the description that you can find where you can see these matches. And again, letting our audience know there are regional streams going on or regional languages that are being streamed. So make sure you head over there, show some love, shed some love on the other casters on the various desks that you'll be able to find 9 different languages, Darshita. We are looking forward to making sure that everybody has fun irrespective of any language barrier. But now it all comes down to Miramar. After Erangel, a classic map where you can be okay with whatever strategy you come in, and however you've played, you will be very strong on your games. But Miramar gives you an opening for all teams because it's an open map.
Open map comes with one more disadvantage, and that is a backstep. That is a third party. That is rotational clashes. That is so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's one simple name, but that simple name is just doing so much. I mean, the way this first map has been for me, I would truly say that I don't really see what is coming in this upcoming match. Like Miramar, we already know, right? It is heavily favoring on what the fly path is right now. We have seen it happening much and much that the play zone always prefer the sides of Los Leones, and I guess casting with me so much, you already know that I am not a person of Los Leones. I really
Mm-hmm.
wish that the first zone is not Los Leones, and somewhere down at the complete edges is what I'm hoping for now.
I agree with you. I want to see a couple of edges as well because Los Leones, when it is going to be a lot of buildings, but there are also a couple of unconstructed buildings. There are teams which can actually go a little bit way further, climb on top of those buildings, and have a vision that nobody has a clue of. So, somewhere down the line, the fights maybe not equal, right, in terms of the firepower from the angle they are viewing. But it is Miramar. It is never fair. It is already out in the open. There are going to be long range fights coming through. There are going to be maybe a couple of sniper actions coming through. That's what I'm going to be expecting. Maybe a couple of teams just looking forward to getting into those high hills. They want to make sure they always have the upper ground advantage. But as I did say, this exclusive partnership along with Router, the matches from the third and the fourth, you can immediately start watching. I mean, you can watch right as of now itself. Router, you can head over there, download the app. There are links, as I said, in the chat section as well as it is pinned and in the description as well. You can find those links, switch over to router right as of now. It's going to be streamed from first match itself, but after the end of second match, when the third match starts, will be exclusively streaming on router. And I'm pretty sure, as I did mention, as you guys don't want to miss the action actually becomes even more interesting on Erangel and Miramar on the third and the fourth match. Right now, it gives you a glimpse. Every team is trying to adjust, make sure they are about in their best form, because starting matches kind of dilly dally. There might be a couple of issues, glitches that happened. Maybe not all their 4 players were able to join. So there are certain situations that can happen, Darshita. But do you think Miramar, if that situation happens, especially being such an open map, will it be easy on a team?
Miramar is a game changer, and it is never easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Playing the map of Miramar, playing Miramar for me is like a nightmare. I mean, I really don't like. I just think twice that should I or should I not. I mean, the rotations that you take needs to be so pinpoint precise in this map that even one wrong call from the IGL can or one wrong call from the player itself can cause a lot of problems. Moreover, we have seen so much happening in this map. The vehicles, the stability of vehicles is something that we never trust in this specific map. I mean, in Erangel at least we can sometimes, but in this specific maps the roads are completely dusty and just full of dunes, and that is something that can cause a lot of problems. We have seen multiple times players going down due to the vehicle explosion. Not just one single player, but certainly we have seen complete team getting eliminated. So I guess there are some points that these players need to really keep in mind before heading towards the map of Miramar.
Teams need to keep a lot of things in mind, Darshita. It's not going to be easy on them. It's going to be taking a toll in terms of how they're going to be able to play on Miramar, how they'll be able to play on Erangel and again Miramar. But right now, it's all about, as we said, the prize. The total prize pool is going to be 10 lakhs, out of which the champions will be walking away with 5 lakhs. We are still in the start of the tournament, Darshita. It's still the beginning stages. Only one match has been done. So the journey, it's going to be a long one and a completely kind of, I would say, a little bit strenuous. It can put a little bit of a stress on a lot of teams. I mean, why am I even being lenient over here? It's going to put a lot of stress on every team.
It is right. I mean, I already can see that. I already can feel that from the very first map itself. But prize pool, as you said, it's going to be a prize pool of 10 lakh rupees. And if you talk about how it is going to be splitted among the, placement prizes and the MVP, it's going to be 5 lakh for the first placed team. Second place, 2 lakh 50,000. Third place is 1 lakh. And so is the split. But as you guys already know, we never ever forget the MVP, the most valuable person in the overall tournament. So it's gonna be 50,000 for one single player. So you're not just getting rewarded for your team performance, but you are getting rewarded for your individual. Individual prizes we have, so you're getting rewarded for your individual talents as well.
Exactly, there will be recognition for everybody, and that's what we here at Sky Esports. And anytime we bring in a tournament, and I think all our, I would say, partners make it happen. That's why we every time when we ever have a partner, they make sure that everybody in the community get a chance. And right as now, AMD Sky Esports Pro League is going to be bringing in a lot of action for you and a lot of, I would say, chances for teams to show themselves and also represent themselves. I understand this is going to be an invited event, so not everybody could have registered, and it's not an open event, so you do not have to worry about it. As we keep discussing and we keep coming here on the caster desk in various different tournaments, and you might be checking it out on how we can join the next tournament upcoming when it's going to be open. All you have to do is follow us at the rate Sky Esports Gaming on Instagram. Whenever there is going to be a tournament, maybe it has already started, maybe the registrations are over, it's going to be the matches that is going to be starting, you will all be notified. The stories will come up, the posts will come up. I mean, there's already other two, I would say, games coming in this Pro League. There's going to be Dota 2 as well as League of Legends. So make sure for all the enthusiasts of Dota 2 as well as League of Legends, the registrations are open. Head over and make sure you register because you do not want to miss out that opportunity. There are games which also have prizes, and there's going to be a lot more games. So maybe you missed this tournament, maybe you missed the previous tournament. As I said, this tournament, I think a lot of viewers would have also missed because it is not I would say, open for all tournaments. It's an invited tournament, so you don't have to worry about it. It's not kind the situation that you missed it, but it's just that it's going to be spectacular to watch, but it's an experience that you will be able to gain, and this experience can actually work when you play in an open tournament when we organize it. So all you have to do is follow us at the rate Sky Esports Gaming. But right now, as we talked about, Darshita, it's going to be Miramar. What do you think in terms of op action? Is it going to be coming through? Are they going to be getting is there going to be maybe other weapons coming through? What are your thoughts?
Snipers is something that I always look forward to, right? I mean, I'm just waited for someone to take out a sniper and
Mm-hmm.
pop off a head. I'm like, okay, there you go. Finally, a sniper is something that got my eyes
Oh,
or got my
yes.
attention for a moment. But right now, I'm pretty excited for the fact that what is about to happen, what is the fly path going to be, or
Mm-hmm.
how is this fight, going to pan out. I mean, the previous map, we didn't see a drop clash coming. I mean, I didn't expect, to be honest, a drop clash between Marcos and Blind in the areas of poaching. Though we didn't see a fight, but still, I mean, I'm yet confused of how this could pan out. Will it be again Los Leones? Will it be again players going down? Will it be again a third party happening, and so much?
Exactly. I'm also looking forward to whether OR can immediately capitalize after getting a chicken dinner, because we have seen, right, Darshita, whenever a team performs on one map, the immediate upcoming map, whichever they play on, whether it is Miramar, Sanok, or whatever we talk about, or even Erangel itself, again, if they have to play it twice, they don't perform the way they actually performed when they got the chicken dinner. They will be one of those teams who get eliminated, being the first or the second team. They might be eliminated at the 15th, 16th position, and they get 0 points for themselves. So I think it is going to be something for all these teams to watch out, that they at least try to kind of find their footing on Miramar and then pick up a fight and get eliminated. But if it's the other way around, before they actually even drop down and get weapons, if teams start eliminating them, isolate them, it's going to be a tough situation, because as you said, Miramar is an open map. But also, as you said, there is going to be a lot of confusion where the team's going to be dropping, especially based on the flight path. Is it going to be north, west, south, diagonal? Is it going to be edged? And where is the circle that will be forming? But along with that, Darshita, there might be snipers or not, but I'm looking forward to again those mini actions coming through. Maybe again we might be seeing a lot of long ranged AK sprays, M4 sprays. What do you think?
I just want to sit and calculate longest distance, the longest distance knock that any player has given so far. I mean, if I could do that, or if we could get information on that, it would be
I think I
like
will now take out that data
yeah.
after
Please,
today's
I
day.
mean, we actually need to. I mean, because you see in this specific map. Not talking about any other map right now. In this only specific map, we see fights happening long range, and there you know get to know about how a long distance play works. I mean,
It's going to
one
be
v one
difficult.
situation, yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I just can't even imagining there's just 4-on-4 players standing right in front, but way far away from each other, and then it's just like either you go for snipers, either you go for mini 14 tap shots, or the last option you got is a long range spray and take one player down. So multiple thoughts that we are having. I know chat section, you guys are pretty excited for the upcoming map, and so we are as a caster. I mean, you look at the way we are just talking. I know you guys are really excited, but it is always said, right? The greater patience you have, the greater amazing the matches are going to be. I mean, it's not said I have made it right now, but again, if you have a bit of patience,
I
this is
think,
an
Darshita, here teams will agree with you, because as long as they have patience, they'll be able to play a little bit better. Because we talk about it, right? You need to be patient when you're about to pick up a fight. You need to have a
yes.
calm and composed gameplay. So right now, if we have a discussion, it's going to be teams as well as players and the chat section also agreeing that there needs to be a certain amount of patience when they're about to pick up a fight with a team that might be aggressing, because we might find a situation. Now I want to point out, I know next map is going to be Miramar, but I want to turn our heads towards Erangel, where you saw Celtz were not ready. Celtz substitute was not ready for a fight. It was TSM who pushed, who immediately started a couple of bullets to fire. But what did substitute do? He just made use of that low ridge advantage that he had to go uphill again and come down. He made that use for himself, and he fought out really well and got those victories and took down 3 players. But as we talked about that, let's head over to Miramar itself. The map is right in front of us, and let's see if that's going to be repeating, because the flight path again kind of a little bit favoring the northern edges. You can see it's going to be cutting from Junkyard to La Cobreria.
Junkyard to La Cabrera. So again, the hopes that I have for the circle to go complete down at the edges is somewhere deep down alive. Maybe it can happen, maybe not. Again, a Los Leones is something. I mean, you look at Miramar, and the first thought that I have after that is Los Leones. I don't know why, but this happens. But right now, I guess teams are looking forward to their primary drop locations, going towards the areas of up there. They have El Azhar, they have water treatment, Saint Martin, Power Grid, Picardo, and Graveyard are going to be the 4 areas that I have my attention towards, because center of all these 4 areas is a place that can either destroy a team itself or the opponents all the 4 ways. So I guess that's a position that can be really crucial. On the other side, you talk about Impala, a great a beautiful compound in the entire map of Miramar. But do we see a split coming from the sides of Chemin Esports there?
Split. This is Miramar. Why would you do a split on Miramar? You can isolate players easily, I would say, for the other teams, but let's see how it's going to be working out. A couple of teams, you can see Team Forever, they're completely jumping to the northern complete western side towards ruins. Not too sure how it's going to be working out, but again, the circle that we are seeing here, Darshita, it is kind of cutting through the flight path as well. So previously we saw it was a complete southern flight path, and the circle was also very close and on top of it this time also, but a little bit towards the southern edges is where the circle has shifted. But we saw a couple of sprays coming in from EXO. I think they did find a finish on TR, not too sure, or maybe a knock, or maybe just those random fires, right? Random bullets being sprayed to just scare your opponent.
Maybe a part trying to take the vehicle right in front. You see a vehicle going, so they were just trying to take maybe one player down, but that didn't work in their favor. Up there, if you talk more about the sides of Team Revenge, you see 4 on the 4 players, they got their compounds, they got their hands on the compounds they want, but you see one player down there, he can be into a lot of difficulties because we already have one more player. Okay, Alu Boy, he got an opportunity to take players that are still in their parachute. If he sees them, you see that blue mark up there with that parachute sign, so the players are not yet down to the ground. It's been already 3 minutes, so again a late rotation, Sam, can really be dangerous in this map, right?
I agree with you. Especially, I would suggest see the teams on how they'll be making their way from the southern sides. A lot of the teams right now, when we saw in the flight path and their drops, they were all encompassing the circle. A couple of teams we did see them go completely to the northwestern edges, northeastern edges. So those teams, it's about the initial loot that they'll be looking forward to. But the fight right now, it's going to be against Revenge and Celtz. The Celtz team is pushing a single line of fire. The damage has been dealt, and look at Sonic. He's done the damage to 2 players from various different angles, but he's also done the damage to other players who have not been yet knocked, and that's the reason Apollo immediately, I would say, switches from MJ and Dream, and he comes up front to pick up a fight. But Sonic, he needs to patch himself up. His teammate, Final Boss, he's here to help him out, and this is why teammates are very much necessary. The amount of damage that needs to be dished, he has done the initial work, and it's about to be wrapped up and finished coming in from Revenge. Final Boss comes ahead, but he was timing his grenades, he was timing his mollies, because of which Sonic Fox gets knocked. But Akshay 5K, he's also been knocked. Looking forward to a confirmation. Apollo is jumped and peeking, for which he'll be punished.
What is exactly happening? You talk about MJ there, Sonic Fox, he's down to the ground right inside the compound, but again you see MJ, he is just walking from behind, and that's going to be one entire team getting eliminated. Sam, if you go back in a bit back in the time, the way Sonic Fox started with by taking 2 players down, he had done the 50% job there and there, but again after that it was like the team coming together, and that's where I guess it eventually didn't work in their favor. It is Apollo. Yes, Team Celtz lost one of their players, but eventually gained 4 finishes for themselves at the beginning itself.
I want to, I would say, highlight Apollo right as of now. If it wasn't for Apollo, Celsius would have been eliminated. MJ got knocked, I would say, yes, MJ got knocked. Another player who pushed also got knocked, as you said, from Sonic's hand. But then what happened? It was Apollo who said, you just get back, do not give up your finish, stay knocked, somebody will come and revive you. And Apollo made that distraction happen. He just gained so much knowledge, so much information. He used his weapon, sprayed so much that Revenge, who were looking forward to push in, I would say, concentrated only on Apollo, because of which in the other time the other players immediately patched themselves up and they actually circled the players on Revenge, and Revenge, you saw, they're going to be the first team to be eliminated. But talking about another team, and as we did discuss about the uphill battles, higher ground advantage, it looks like Big Brother Esports, they want to make sure they have that. 7C Sarang, he is also looking forward to that uphill advantage, taking his buggy and trying to climb the hill as much as possible. I just hope he does not make a wrong move and his vehicle tumbles down, Darshita.
Again, Sam, the main question right now I have is, why are these 2 players so away from their teammates? Look at them, they are trying to go for an uphill advantage. Yes, it is going to be an important part, but again, staying away from your teammates for such a long period of time, when you know that you have opponents right front in your face, can be really really difficult. On the other sides, I guess that's going to be a Car 98 in the hands of Beast OP. So Sarang, even if his pixel is visible there, Beast OP can manage and take him down. So Sarang needs to be really, really careful. And there you go. I guess Beast OP is really up with the information. Sarang has compromised himself, and it can be difficult. But again, Sarang, if he calls his teammates, if he gives a calls, and a 4v4 fight is something that takes place, and I guess giving a prediction here can really be difficult.
I agree with you. Whether it's going to be a call to make sure everybody comes together or it's going to be just people moving away. As you said, Beast OP did kind of get an idea, but looking at their teams, I would say, looking at their players, they're kind of far away from each other. 7C Sarang, he's picking up the responsibility. He wants to make sure he does the damage. He spots, I think, the head of Beast OP. Beast OP is also looking forward to the same thing. Let's see which is going to be working out, a DMR or it's going to be a sniper rifle. Both of them have the scopes, but which do you think is going to be performing better, Darshita?
Maybe a Car 98. I mean, I have always been into snipers more, so I guess that's going to be the biggest reason. But as we said, 7C Sarang, they were looking forward for that chicken dinner that they lost in the previous match. So maybe this time they will be focused more that we lost it in the previous match. Let's just, get it in this match itself. So it can be anything happening. And I guess that's going to be a bit of damage just by Sarang on the sides of Team BB there. We saw them low on HP. They patched themselves up again. But this is going to prolong, right? This is going to prolong. This is going to take a lot of time back there till the time the teams don't get into a 4v4 fight. I guess damages is only the thing that is going to be dished from both of the sides.
Damage is going to be dissed, and it's also, as you said, right, if they prolong the fight, they're going to be wasting a lot of their resources. The ammunition will go down in vain, and none of them, I mean, for both the teammates, will actually trickle down in terms of a victory. It'll just trickle down in both of them having nothing in the last few fights, because in the last we did talk about it, right? You need to have smokes, you need to have ammunition, you need to have the right kind of weapon to pick up close range fights. But let's see in the next circle, the first one, it's about to be closed off. It's going to be kind of shrinking right as now, and let's see where the next circle will be forming. There's going to be EXO who are right at the edge at the compounds of Los Leones, but because this is the first circle and first play zone and first blue zone shrinkage, it's not going to be something that they have to worry about. The damage is going to be very minute and they can deal with it with energy drinks. But let's see how they're going to be panning out and rotating for the next circle, because it's again taking a switch to the northern edges itself, northwestern edges to be specific. El Pozo still going to be there, and let's see how teams are going to adapt to it. But right now, Orangutan, they are going to be kind of in between OG.
Two there. Falling down from his own vehicle, Sam. I mean, we have been talking. Yeah, we have been talking about this. We have been, I don't know why, but we have been saying this multiple times. And again, we see Prince going down because of his own vehicle, writing his own. That is not something that you do at this point of time. And on the other side, you talk about the teammate Sarang. He has even been caught, but this time it's not going to be the sides of Team BB, but Team Celtz. His dreams is looking forward once again to achieve his dreams. He will be spraying on the sides of Sarang. Back there, he sees one more vehicle. He tries to spray down there, but at this point of time, he might get into a sandwich situation by, taking fights in between two of the teams.
Sandwich is something, again, I mean, Erangel, it kind of, you can move away from it. We saw Daljit and Nexus somehow surviving out of a sandwich situation and making their way away, but here it's not going to be easy. Either you fire or either the opponent fires, and immediately that sound will be heard from another team and the third party can happen. And I think the third party can happen right here between 7C as well as NTT, because you can see Celsius, they've heard the noise, and I'm looking forward to when they will be pushing in, because if they're pushing first, they can immediately finish off both these teams and get a lot of finishes for themselves. But 7C, they will have a little bit of a difficulty because they are getting surrounded from various teams. So irrespective whether NTT managed to run out or not, 7C, they might get finished off either from NTT Sand or the side of Celsius.
Out of all this, Sam, Team Celsius has a great opportunity, as you said. If they wait, Troy, wait, what? The grenade from Troy destroyed himself there and it was he himself taking. Why is this happening again and again? Troy is down to the ground.
I think this is when they saw 7C player being knocked from Celsius, they understood there's a third party here, and I think Troy was just timing a grenade, cooking it perfectly to throw it to 7C and try to find a knock, and I think he
Yeah.
got distracted or something, but he's going to be feeling a little bit bad because right now Entity, they need to go and help out Troy, and that's going to be a couple of I would say precious seconds and minutes being wasted just to get that player up on feet and to patch himself up, so they'll be losing precious resources as well. But I think 7C, one of the players, they have been dealt with a lot of damage. Another player we just seeing who's a little bit out and away from his team, trying to go in for a long range fight, and he's unable to find anybody. But 7C Prince, he gets spotted out. It's gonna be, and he will be immediately knocked, and there's gonna be a finish also coming in. Noob trying to make sure that nobody comes in for a revive. He again spots through the window, does the damage, and that's gonna be a confirmation for Noob on Prince.
That's going to be one finish for the entire team. Dark Lord with that grenade, he's trying to take more. And right now, the position of Aluboy, he is being, it's been compromised. Noob is sure of the position they are holding, but Noob has more information on the sides of Team Celtz as well. They know that a third party is about to happen any moment. Aluboy, he just has some windows right in front of him to get some more details. But again, a small panic room is something that even one grenade there can cause a problem. Noob again down to the down floor. Aluboy is still holding back that position. Team Celtz out of this is just waiting for an opportunity. And why do I see one more team coming and making a fourth party in this fight? This is Miramar. I know this party is hosted by us, but these players are just enjoying it. There you go. Aluboy has been caught down to the ground, completely eliminated by Dark Lord. So one more player being eliminated. Down there, Celtz has got their opportunity for a third party, and they will be making sure to capitalize on it.
Exactly, I did say 7C are going to be having a difficult time, irrespective whether Entity get finished or caught out. It is going to be 7C being finished. Yes, the last surviving player, his card was seen, that's going to be Savitar, but Entity Shadow, he's trying to look forward to fighting it out, not only with Celsius, but also another team that's going to be Orangutan. They are also looking forward to pushing it, but let's see if he's going to be finding an opportunity. No, Shadow has been knocked, and I think he has another player from his teammate, Dark Lord as well as Noob. They are stuck inside a building. Celsius, there was a player who pushed, but he's already knocked now. MJ, he's trying to look forward to revive him, but in the meantime, OG Believe pushes, gets him taken down with his M249 and finishes off, gets that finish point for his team. And Orangutan, they have surrounded Entity, as well as I think they finished off Celsius. Unfortunate for Celsius, they did want to pick up a third party, but the fourth party reigned better here.
It definitely did. Right now, the parade of grenades from Believe is something that is getting the opponents in a difficult spot. But look at Xspark, the way he jumped down and took one player with him was really amazing. Believe he has been eliminated completely. I mean, he believed that he could survive, but he couldn't survive for a longer period. MJ, he is still live down there with that M416 he has, and right now is looking forward to taking fight with the sides of Team OG. But again, you need to complete this fight early, and if you don't, there can be one more party happening, and if this takes place, these both teams can get destroyed there and there, and this is something that they need to be careful about, or maybe learn from the past fights happening. On the other sides, on the other areas, this specific map, we have Savitar, the last surviving player from the sides of Team 7C, looking forward to a compound where we can see the sides of Team HH, and behind it is one more team. So maybe a third party again, Sam?
I mean, he's the last surviving player, so I'm not too sure how he's going to be taking that third party on. But now MJ, the last surviving player, looking forward to doing the damage, gets a knock. Did he get a finish as well? I'm not too sure. I'm just looking forward to the kill feed, but I did see the finish of MJ. Not too sure about whether he got that knock and immediate confirmation, but we did see Big Brother Scream get eliminated to the play zone. Unfortunate for them. Daljit gets finishes on Beast OP from Big Brother Esports. Another one as players from Big Brothers falls apart. It's going to be another team, I guess, that will lose their footing in Miramar. The last two surviving players for Team Forever, they are patching themselves up, looting the players who they just finished off, but there is another player right close to them, and they're already being dished with a lot of damage from the play zone, because of which you can see they have to make commitments of their first aid kits. But right now, Savitar, he was waiting for an opening. He finds as they were taking the tum-tum car and gets one finish for all the efforts, but that's all he gets because immediately Maxi peaks, eliminates 7C Savitar, and that's going to be 7C as well eliminated at the 11th position. So for all their efforts, they get one placement point.
They do get one placement points, but the sides of Team HH, look at them right now. They have been dealing with a lot of damage. There's one vehicle running right at the back of them, and right now Carry, if his locations gets compromised at this point of time, the 4 players can cause a problem, but Carry decides to be the one causing the problem, and he is looking forward to at least some more information, or at least taking one player down, so that the team gets more freedom of just roaming around, or maybe getting a good positions onto themselves. Right now, I guess Team HH is looking forward to move as far as they can, but you see the minimap up there. There is not just one single team. It's going to be multiple teams crossing their ways. One player, he's already off the vehicle. He has decided not to go in for a marathon, but just take out the gun spray as much as you can and get one player between your crosses, or pop off his head and maybe register one finish point for himself. But again, this is again creating a cluster up there. Look at that. There are so many players. One player down to the ground, and there you go. TRX1. Okay, he just. What happened? Can you tell me, Sam, what happened here? I am so confused.
I mean, I'm a little bit confused myself because it was so quick. That it was just two different fights that we are witnessing. TR, I think they're finding it a bit difficult because they have to come uphill, and I think that's where they're unable to find a way. And Yuva OP, he's trying to make sure that they push them down. Walkouts, let's see if they're going to be able to actually push back TR. Now TR, they've spotted another player who was rotating in the vehicle. And yes, both these teams are right at the edge of the circle, but still none of them have found kind of an advantage. Abrar, he's pushed up, he's very close to Celtz. Let's see if he's going to be getting that finish or not, but now grenade is being cooked. The players are close and together, and Abrar, he's the only player who's close to that 3 players. So it's going to be a 1v3 if he wants to pull off, or he just needs to back off, and he is backing off as his teammate is providing the cover fire that is much needed. And Teddy Bear, he gets one on HH Evil Surya, but immediately Celtz gets knocked. Unfortunate. Along with that, another player from TR gets knocked, and one after another players are falling apart. Evil Surya was knocked from TR. There is going to be smoke being deployed to make sure he is revived, but as soon as they're looking forward to that, Exo Storm has come through. He's looking forward to picking up a fight, whereas he's the only sole surviving player in terms of in the position he is. His other teammates, they're a little bit further away, so Tom, he shouldn't pick up a fight, just relay information. As Hacker, he is finding Abrar from Walkouts and gets the finish.
My god, what these teams are exactly up to. The strategy is something that is not readable, I would say, at this point of time. So Tom, as you said, he's in a small hut there, and that can be difficult. Carry running out in the open will be punished bad. And there you go, one player down, the second player down as well by the sides of Team TR Arrows. So they lost one of their players, but they gained 3 finishes. Right now, Team HH, they are into difficulties. One player is still down. There is really no hope of him getting revived, and there you go, he will be confirmed there and there. Tom, his location has been compromised, and Teddy Bear is trying his level best to take him out. But again, Tom, being the smarter one, is just not moving his muscle. Eros, who was causing a lot of problems for the sides of Team HH, right now is being caught by the sides of Team Exo Tom, that he'll be taking him down. Exo Hacker will be taking Teddy Bear down there. Maxi there, you can see, is the last surviving player from the sides of Team HH. So Team HH right now, Maxi is at a safer spot. But if in case Team Exo out of nowhere spots him, it is going to be him getting eliminated completely.
He might be eliminated, but right now, Walkouts, they're still surviving. They lost Abrar, they lost Yuva, but it's going to be Beard Baba as well as Mr. Spray. Let's see how it's going to be working out. Marcos, who were also surviving in a similar position at the 5th circle, one after another are falling apart. The kill feed is telling us that Kemen's Destro, he's again making it work on Team Rip Mizo. Unfortunate for them. Teddy Bear, you did see him play really well. He was performing like insane. He did take 2 finishes, I guess, but after that he did not have the amount to retaliate. His health was not that great. But now if you want to talk about Old Esports, it's going to be the last surviving player, Crazy. His name has Crazy in it. Can he pull off something crazy? Right now he has been spotted from Mr. Spray, but Mr. Spray, he's taking his buggy. He does not want anything to do here, and he's just looking forward to getting into the circle.
it is something that everybody is looking forward to. But on the other side, if you talk about the sides of Team Exo, Tom, the player who was really away from his teammates is being caught into someone's crosshair. Marcos Don will be caught in a vehicle explosion. Jagga OP was trying to go in for a grenade at that moment. Even he will come in the crosses of a team, and he will be finding himself down to the ground. So Tom, he has patched himself up, but again, he has one of his teammates down to the ground. So responsibility is double on his shoulder to provide a cover, to provide a great location, and revive his teammate back to his life. Hacker, he was in the blues a while ago, but right now he's feeling safe and secure while entering the zone with that buggy. But again, you see the hills right in front. Even if there's one or two teams holding right in front of those hills, it can be lot more of difficult. But out of all these, Team Marcos, a really good spot, a really good position in the overall zone to play around with, right?
I agree with you. They already have 5 finishes. Dion himself has 4 finishes out of the 5. And I think, as you said, Marcos are going to be in a little bit of a good positioning where they can play right at the edge of the circle. They've spotted out Exo. The fight has been initiated. Hacker again, he's been knocked. Unfortunate for him, because everybody has to head back to make sure Hacker is back on his foot, because they want to make sure the fight that they're putting up is going to be strong, because they've already lost Immortal. They don't have a great footing, but Marcos, they're finding those various angles where they can completely take down Exo. The damage has been done, and as Hacker gets confirmed, the other players fall apart one after another, and it is going to be the end of Exo. But the skill, those finishes were stolen by whom? It was from Chemin, and they will not be happy. Marcos doing the damage, but somebody else wrapping up the finishes. This is going to be that option. This is going to be an opening that Marcos will be looking forward to make sure they just wreak havoc on Chemin when it's possible. But right now, it's going to be yes, as he said. They find an opening, and Delta PG, he gets a knock from Marcos itself.
I can see Destro up there, so it's like a kind of satisfaction for the teammate that they have an upper ground advantage, so that there's no enemy rushing towards them. But again, upper ground advantage, no, it won't work in their favors, because you see the zone is not favoring them, and this is what we keep on talking about again and again. Each action has an equal and opposite reaction, and maybe this action will have a bad reaction. It is not lucky. Are both of these players, or maybe this jump could have been a jump directly into hell for them, but Discord on the other side again, some stunts happening with those vehicle. Westgod will be caught by Marcos, and that's Hugo Westgod down to the ground. Destro on the other side, they got managed on the other sides, and Delta PG will be managing to take a trigger off completely. So a double-digit mark is what Chemin Esports got for themselves right now.
Exactly. Right now, Chemin is playing really, really well, but it's the last 2 surviving players. Marcos as well. We did see them previously. They had 5. They would have a lot more in terms of finishes, but you did see Chemin stole a couple of them. If you want to talk about walkouts, you saw them. They did spot out a player. The last surviving player, I'm unable to recall, but still they did just understand that the main intention about their survival is going to be getting inside the circle. They did not pick up a fight, and they just moved in, and right now they have the edge of the circle. But as soon as the circle shifts, the Shita, they're going to be having a tough time, because as we saw when we spectated them, they do not have anywhere to climb. They're just blocked by a lot of higher ground hills where there is no option of climbing up, so they have to find a way to rotate. And now the circle has shifted, and it's favoring Marcos. Marcos will be really, really happy. Previously, it was that they had to enter the circle. This time, every other team has to enter.
We are looking forward to not even, leave a single position empty for the enemies to enter. Look at both of these players who are already in the play zone. They are almost holding like a 60% of the play zone itself. So you got 40% to work around with, and in that 40%, Pao Kilo is just raining grenades and those fire lines over the enemy. Destro on the other side will be caught by Marcos. Once again, it's going to be the sides of Team Marcos destroying the sides of Team Chemin Esports Destro. So Destro, he is down to the ground. The teammate is going to be Delta PG. He's been dealing a lot of damages, and right now, if you look at Marcos, they are looking really very happy. The last player who was out of the zone right now has made his way inside. But again, there you go. It's going to be last 3 surviving players. Marcos is making it work in their favor really well. Chemin Esports falling down like dominoes. It's going to be the last surviving player, and I'm not yet sure of how much can he do here.
I mean, the last surviving player from Walkouts was confirmed with a grenade. Unfortunate. So, Beard Baba, even though he was knocked, it was a waste. All gone in vain. But as you said, it will also be the last surviving player, Delta PG. It's going to be a 3v1 situation. 9 finishes from Marcos. And they want to make sure they get the double digit and get the chicken dinner for themselves. And Marcos getting the winner chicken dinner for themselves. But for all our viewers, this is the end of match 2. And now we will be heading over to Router to make sure you are immediately switching to Router. If you have not, download the app right as now, and if you're checking for where can I find the link, it's already pinned in the chat section, and you can also find it in the description of this stream. So make sure you're going to hit like and subscribe for this stream as well, and also go and join us on Router, and do not miss out on the opportunity, because as I said, Erangel and Miramar is going to give you the, I would say, hindsight and also kind of insight of how things are going to be panning out in the next upcoming 2 matches. Because first two matches, they're like, right, the starters of the entire tournament. So right now they are acclimatized, they are ready for the upcoming action, and Erangel and Miramar, they're going to give it their all. Marcos, you saw them, they were ready in first map itself, but the rotation, the circle gave them a little bit of a disadvantage, and as they were entering the circle, everybody started spotting them out and they started losing their footing. But this time on Miramar, they got the circle advantage and got the chicken dinner along with 10 finishes. So total in terms of points, they'll be getting 25, Darshita.
They had their visions clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were just, I mean, I still remember a point where I said that Marcos, they have a great footing inside the play zone, but then after the zone shrink, one of their player was, if I'm not wrong, out of the play zone. And what he was doing out of the play zone, he was waiting, he was just trying to, locate the enemies, and he was passing on the same information to his teammates. But we'll talk more about that situation. But let's just see how everything started. It was a fight between the sides of Team Celtz and Revenge, where Team Celtz, they Apollo, yes, they lost Apollo, but as you said, Apollo was the man who just made things work. But again, at this point of time, I have to say this, that Celtz, they waited a bit long, or they just missed that opportunity of third party, and I guess that's the point where Team Celtz was eliminated completely.
Exactly, I agree with you. Celsius did not time it perfectly. They should have pushed as soon as they started seeing a couple of players from 7C fall down. They did push, but by that time it was too late. And as you said, on the side of Orangutan, they had already moved their way into the buildings. But you did see MJ here. He did get that finish. That's what I was looking forward to. He did immediately knock and finish off Ash, and he did get the damage dished on him as well. And because he was the last surviving player, he got eliminated. Same goes for Savitar. He did pick up one finish on Striker, but then immediately got traded out on Maxi. But you saw TR Teddy Bear, he did a lot of the heavy lifting for the team. Yes, he did get that initial knock, but his teammates, Team Rip Mizo's teammates, they did make sure they immediately revive Teddy Bear. And Teddy Bear, his name might feel like he's soft, but he was just going ham with his magazines and bullets. And he was also really well. You saw his praise, it was very good and controlled. He did do and get those knocks, but after his teammates fell apart, there was no chance of capitalizing. Orangutan, this is always what we see on Miramar, is that when you're rotating, you need to make sure you have your angles checked, you have your corners checked. You cannot just blindly rush in with a vehicle, and even if you rush in, just like the vehicle tumbled, you might be just eliminated.
I completely agree with that. Right now, after all this happening, I guess this was the fight I was talking about, where Marcos had, two of their players. One player out of the zone was just waiting and acting as a person of information, a complete information, and that is how it really worked in their favor. Marcos got the information from the player outside the play zone. And then they were like, okay, we have a player here. Let's just wait for him to show even one single pixel. And as soon as he got that pixel, Marcos made sure that it was done and dusted. And they, as I said, they had their visions clear that the previous match we could not make it. So this match we are not just letting it go. So finally they decided it was timed out perfectly. It was played brilliantly. But again, I would like to inform audience, Router is what we are shifting on. I have already I have downloaded Router. I mean, even you have, Sam, right?
Exactly, it's already going on.
Yeah, after the stream gets over, I sit and I'm like, okay, let's just watch the stream again. This is just a different kind of thing I do regularly. So yeah, gentlemen, if you guys haven't downloaded Router yet, first go to the Play Store, download Router, because the upcoming match we may switch any moment now on Router.
Exactly. You need to immediately make sure you have installed. I would suggest even before you see the stream being ended here, or you see the screen that we have switched to router, make sure you're already switching over there. The links are there to make sure your life is even more easy in terms of the switching process. It seems seamless for you. So click on the links, get over there and join us again, because yes, you're going to be seeing us, and also the action coming on Erangel and Miramar again, because it's going to be the third and the fourth match. A lot more interesting it is going to be, because as we said, as you start off, the action might be kind of delay dallying, but then you start seeing at the last few circles it's going to be expediting, but then the last two matches, that's going to be just unimaginable and even chaotic. But now I want to talk about Miramar's action, what just happened. There were a couple of instances that we felt bad, especially I would want to talk about Walkouts and Team Rip Mizo. Both of them faced each other, both of them, they knew that they were right against each other, both of them had an uphill to climb and go downhill. A little bit advantage was on the side of Walkouts. I think Walkouts should have picked up that fight, should have eliminated. You saw Abrar, he did actually push a little bit further, and he was in a situation where it would have been a 1v3, but then he requested for a cover fire from a higher ground teammate who was already stationed, and he did give the cover fire, because of which Abrar did make it to a safe positioning. But it all went in vain, because at the end of the day, Abrar never even survived. It was Beard Baba and Mr. Spray. So I think somewhere Walkouts, the strategy that they're picking up, either pick up a fight or do not pick up the fight at all. Do not give away your position. A lot of teams did that. We talked about this, the Celsius fight where they had a chance of the third party. I think they should have just either waited it out, not at all give their position, but if they wanted to make an execution, they should have been a little bit quicker. We can even go and retouch the first fight we saw, which was Revenge as well as Celsius. Celsius got their confidence from that first fight. First initial damage was from Revenge Sonic Fox, but what missed over there is the cover that came through. It was a little bit too late. Final boss, what did he do? He was using grenades, he was using mollies while he was not ready for a push, and I think Apollo did a brilliant job over there, grasped the attention of every other player from Revenge, where the other players who were knocked immediately patched themselves up and they immediately surrounded them. And I wanted to slow down that fight and again explain on how it went off. There were two different openings over there. One where you did already see Apollo, another one on the back side where the other two players from Celsius actually made their way out and surrounded Revenge. So that's how they actually got it. So it's a brilliant execution coming in from them, and that's the reason we talk about, right, Darshita? Your communication between your teammates, it needs to be very much clear, and only little details that is enough for each other to understand, not a sentence that like we here keep talking and explaining. It needs to be very precise, so that in the communication, in the comms, it's not just you talking about one or the other thing, and somewhere down the line the sound, game sound, gets missed.
See, it's always about details right now. If you even talk about a particular map, yes, a map is something that everyone is. If you ask someone the names of the places, everyone can give you, but the details of the map is something that not everyone can give, and this is something that can be difficult for some, and for some it may not be. But as we're talking about what happened in Miramar, even one thing that I would like to mention here was the sides of 7C.
Oh
The very
yes.
first match of Erangel, 7C, they were just one step away from that chicken dinner, and
Mhm.
after Miramar coming our way, I really thought that Team 7C could make it work into their favor. But again, what went wrong there? Sarang, we saw him, climbing that uphill, and there was, if I'm not wrong, that Beast was right in front of him, and there we had both of these players fighting it out for a long period of time. They were away from their teammates, and after a while, I guess when we switched towards 7C, it was last of their players surviving. I mean, this is a really small thing that it may seem a small thing, but again, staying away from your teammates and not playing together can cause a lot of problems. And eventually that happened with 7C when there was, I guess, the last surviving player. He took one player down. I don't recall the name of whom it was, but he
Uh,
took one player down. I
yes, he
guess you know,
did.
right?
Yes, it was Striker
Yeah.
from Hyderabad
Yes,
Hydras.
exactly.
But as you said, I second that I would say viewpoint that you just mentioned. You cannot
Yeah.
just pick up fights everywhere. It might be a small thing to pinpoint and talk about, but these small things, I would say, have a cascading effect. Once you make
Yes.
a wrong move, it just keeps falling apart one after another. 7C, you saw, as you mentioned, first they picked up a fight with Big Brother Esports. The damage, yes, they dealt it, but did they get the finish? No, not at all.
No, they
Then
didn't.
you just switch over to where 7C were kind of sandwiched. They were just cornered. Entity was there on one end, Celsius was there on one end, and to sum it up all, Orangutan did push in and just finished off every other team in that specific compound. And you saw 7C Savitar, he was all in a way, complete different angle. No clue of if he even had any kind of, you say, right, a relationship with his teammates. So I think these things need to be somewhere down the line streamlined, and they need to be kind of re-strategize. They need to head back to the blackboard, understand what went wrong, why did they split up. And Miramar, if you split up, as we said, it's easy to isolate you because the sound cues, they are way louder. There are no bushes, there are buildings, but those buildings are not enough to hide you. But I think with a lot of these discussions that we are doing, it will all, I would say, sum up, and you will be able to watch it from the next match, which will only exclusively be streamed on Router. And this I would say exclusive viewership advantage. All of you can take it. There's no limitations. There's nothing that in terms of you have to pay. All you have to do is you have to download the app, use the link that is there in the chat section and the description, and head over there right now, because any moment Erangel can start and you might just miss the initial start and flight path and circle.
That is going to be really very true, and trust me. We are repeating ourselves, Sam, on this by saying that the third and the fourth match is going to be amazing to watch. But there's one reason behind that, and the reason is going to be that these players, after finishing two matches, each single player, each single team has played one map at least, and after playing one map with different teams, they are habitual. They got to learn about strategies. They got to learn. They got to read strategies, and after that. You know what is happening, right? You
Mm-hmm.
exactly know that these players can read the steps, these players can read the mind clearly. I mean, even if we talk about it again and again that this could have been the issue, or maybe this is something happening, but again, it's our point of view, and we don't know what exactly is going on there in their minds as well.
I agree with you. No, none of us have any clue on what is going on in any of these teams' minds, because we as casters are able to speculate. We are able to put up a storyline for what they're thinking, how they are going to be performing, and even we might actually talk to our audience saying that this could have been better, this could have worked out. But in that specific situation, you are not there, I am not there, and
Yes,
none of us are
exactly.
there. That specific player is there. So what's going on in their mind, it's going to be a little bit difficult to contemplate. But what is not going to be difficult in terms of understanding what you will get when you get to victory is going to be 5 lakhs if you become the champion of AMD Skyesports Pro League, powered by Router. And as I said again, there's just a couple of moments that is available for you before we start on Erangel, and especially exclusively on Router.
The fight is for pride, the fight is for victory, the fight is for glory, but moreover, the fight is for a total prize pool of 10 lakh rupees. Yes, 5 lakh is the first place that the team gets. If you are placed first, you get 5 lakh. That's 50% of the total prize pool that you take with yourself. And just imagining it happens, right? The team that is first place, eventually one individual talent from the team is rewarded as the MVP. So it's gonna be 5 lakh 50,000. So I guess
Oh,
it's just like if I get a chance to interview them, I'll be like, can I get that 50,000 for myself, please? I mean,
okay.
I do feel like asking it again and again of, what will you do of that 50,000, 5 lakh 50,000? I mean, it's just 50,000 that I'm asking for.
Mm, I understand the way you mean it, but do you think they'll be even
No,
giving you that?
obviously,
I mean, they're about to go to
obviously,
be uh, maybe working on trying to improve a lot more, and especially after the hard work they've done, Darshita, right? I
yes.
understand we'll be all alongside with them on the desk, but hard work reaps benefits. I mean, we are also enjoying, we have